One thing that stuck with me, you said that the advertisements or the things that we're posting on social medias, you were saying that they're going to be directed towards, if you like family, it'll be a family oriented. If you like relationships, it'll be relationship oriented. Do you think that's where we're going? Like to specify exactly what you're, because you look at TikTok, it's crazy. The thing just keeps you engaged, right? It's like hard to get off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for an episode of Shotcast with a very powerful individual today, Acez Hurbis. He's the Chief Marketing Officer at Rocket Central, which is most of the rocket companies, billion-dollar companies we're talking here. He oversees all the marketing initiatives. He's driving new strategies to captivate the audience of the nation's largest and most trusted mortgage lender to achieve these goals. He leads in the Detroit's premier in-house marketing agency. With Casey's leadership at Rocket, he's earned 2 consecutive #1 rankings on the highly coveted USA Today Ad Meter, the leading ranking platform for Super Bowl commercials. In 2022, he won, and in 2021, he won, both with amazing Rocket mortgage ads for the Super Bowl. He's a graduate of Michigan State University, so go green if you see him. And we're excited to have him on the show. You know, I believe this channel is about sharing the wealth, so I'm going to be getting information from him and picking his brain a little, but also I want you to hear what he has to say regarding marketing, social media, the trending topics, how he got to his success today. I think it's very important. This guy's a senior leader in charge of marketing for a billion-dollar organization, and he won the #1 commercial 2 years in a row. This guy's huge. He's busy. By the way, new Acez Academy gear. Everything in life connects. AcezAcademy.com. Check out the new gear. Motivate and inspire not only yourself when you look in the mirror, look down, but everybody around you.
Alex.
Casey, how's it going?
Good, man. Sorry I'm a few minutes late.
Oh, it's okay, brother. You're super busy. Thanks for taking the time.
What do you got? You got like a professional studio set up there.
Oh, yes, sir. We got everything for you. We even got the noisemakers here.
There you go.
Yes, sir. How you been, man?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Fucking cold as shit here today, but it's all good. I'm about to go over to Comerica Park. I gotta go look at some signage stuff, so it's gonna be freezing, but it's all good.
Yes, sir. The beauty of Detroit. Do we only have 15 minutes? 14 now?
I'll add some on the back end. I apologize. I had a creative review with my team. I had to get through some stuff.
No worries, man. Well, I gave you an introduction while you were gone because you're an impressive man, and we appreciate you for everything you're doing for the company.
Oh, good. I appreciate you.
And I just kind of, we met 5 years ago. You really helped me out back then. It's crazy because you evolve as time goes on, and I'm in a completely different space now, but kind of along the same line. And you helped me a while ago. And now, I mean, from where you were there to where you are now and what you've accomplished, it's crazy. So I wanted to kind of pick your brain on a couple of things, maybe get some advice from you. And I thought I'd document it, you know, just to share some gems.
Yeah, of course. I'm going off memory myself, Alex. When we chatted, if I remember correctly, you correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you doing some YouTube videos with a book?
Yeah.
You know, like you were doing like a book club, and at the time you were talking about, it was like a Navy SEAL 6 book, whatever it might be. And at some point we were on your YouTube channel, like, oh, what's that? And you showed me like your alter ego.
Yeah,
right?
it was extreme ownership to the top. So we had an issue where, well, I had an issue. I couldn't remember books, and we were starting a book club at the same time for directors. And I said, hey, why not summarize books in 10 takeaways, 10 minutes? And that was how the YouTube thing started. That evolved into motivational videos. Then it evolved into podcasts, which we called, you know, Shotcast. We were doing them with like senior leaders. Now it's completely different. So I'll catch you up to speed on it, though.
Married at the time? No.
No, it was before I was married. Before I even had a girlfriend, I think. I was single when I met with you.
Didn't I ask you, didn't you show me a video? It's with like you and your buddies and you were screwing around or whatever it might have been.
It might have been something like that when you were giving me feedback on what to show and not show on YouTube, maybe.
I'm just going off memory because I remember that meeting because I've actually used it in the past. I used our conversation.
Yeah.
When I talk to young people, and I think one of my personal credos and quotes is like, I'm so glad I grew up in the 70s and 80s because I did so much stupid and there's no record.
Yeah, you told me that. I remember.
There's a Warren Buffett quote of, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about it, you might do things different. And I've used that, our conversation that day, because you weren't doing anything super egregious and meant to be harmful and nothing, like make no mistake. But if I remember correctly, I asked you, like, as you want to continue to grow, blah, 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 will you be proud of this 10 years from now? Because your life evolves, right? I mean, I think about the stuff I did when I was 20, 30.
Yeah.
I look back and I go, fuck, I'm glad I did before YouTube.
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more. It's actually what my sweater says, everything in life connects. So I'm glad that meeting connected to something else for you.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah,
and
so...
Married and you got kids?
Yeah, married with 1 kid. As you can see, the grays are coming in, but we're blessed.
It's the hardest and most rewarding job you can ever have.
Yeah, you have a few kids yourself.
Yeah, they're older now. I mean, I say older, 17 and 12.
Yeah, my wife actually went to Michigan State too, so.
It goes, everyone tells you this, but it goes way too fast. You look back and Jesus Christ, I was holding my daughter yesterday, and, yesterday I was meeting with her counselor talking about, colleges to look at. And I was like,
yeah.
There you go. But anyway.
Yeah, I remember that. I try to remember that every single day and spend quality time. So your background, I explained, 17 years in the automotive industry. You've been with Rocket since 2017, 2 award-winning Super Bowls. I mean, one thing that sticks to me every time I talk to you is you talk about how the culture has shaped you and how much the Rocket culture has made you buy in. Could you just explain that a little for me real quick? What's the biggest thing about the culture here that you love and that you're continuing to grow for us?
Prior to joining Rocket, Rocket 6 years ago in April, I've spent 25 years in the automotive industry, agency, and on the OEM side, on the automaker side. And I became a leader at a very young age. I was a leader at 27 years old, leading the team, grew in leadership along the way. So I was a leader for 18 years with zero, formal training, a construct of which to work from. I really led, emulating people I knew or what, I knew true to myself. And when I was interviewing here, I'll never forget, after I interviewed here, I spent the day with Jay Partner, and I walked outside and went to my car, and I started reading the Isms book in the parking lot, right here back behind OCM on the top deck. And I almost got through the book sitting in the car, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, here I am, and the words weren't the same, but the prevailing thought and the isms again. The isms, I leaned into them, and I was like, wow, I've been living my life very similar, who I am as a human, as a professional, as a father, a son, whatever it might be. I was living very much in similar ways. I just wasn't using the same exact words. And so that's when it really made me realize, wow, this is the type of company, organization, and culture I want to be part of at an older age, at 45 years old. Joined this company 5, 10, 15 years ago as I was younger in my career. And when I first got here, Alex, I realized that I had a lot to learn as it came to leadership. And, it'd be very easy for me to join this organization and go, what got me here will get me there. And, I decided to step back and, look at myself in the mirror and go, there's a lot you can learn about, how to be more of an effective leader, communicator, whatever it might be. Still miles to go. And so that's where I'm thankful is, I found a company and organization that, the culture and philosophy and certainly, wrapped with the isms all around it. It spoke to me, and now it's like, okay, now what are you going to do with it? And there I am 6 years later. I've changed a lot. As a marketer and, as a human, right? As we all, as we grow older and, ideally wiser. Well, I was shaped, and if I would have come in and said, and I've seen people join this organization from outside that maybe have 20, 25 years of experience, they decide not to maybe look in the mirror and maybe make changes or evolve. And I think it's, you're battling, quite honestly, uphill. You've got to be willing to change, take the feedback, and what you're going to do with the feedback is just as important as if you're willing to listen to it.
I always say great leaders force feedback. You'd not even wait for it, but force it. Every single time I end a meeting, what could I have done better? What could I have done better?
I ask at the end of every one-on-one I do with a team member, I ask my team members, give me feedback.
And even seeing you speak 5-6 years ago in the engine to seeing you speak now is transformational. Even your health, I mean, you've lost a lot of weight, it looks like, over the past years.
Pounds.
That's crazy.
I made a decision a year and a half ago. I turned 50 years old, and I looked at myself again in the mirror, and I saw somebody I didn't like and I didn't want to be anymore. And I then reflected and realized that I've been living my life like I'm 25 and 35 and expecting different results. And so I decided to make changes for the better. Right? As you get older, things get more difficult, and so I was like, I've got to make changes because what I'm doing, living like I'm 25 and 35, I'm going the wrong way. So made a lot of health and personal decisions that I feel amazing.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job, man. Just to catch you up to speed. So as a senior leader, I became known and in love with helping people that were struggling and maybe on their last month or two in the company. And I got very good at that, of transforming them into promotions and leaders and getting them off their production letters, as we call it. And as I became in love with that, I started like a boot camp for struggling bankers in the company where I do like a 3-day camp, 8 hours a day, pretty aggressive Friday to Sunday, to teach them everything I know about banking and break it down. And the feedback I kept hearing was, the way you teach it was simple. It was easy. It was digestible. I started doing the same thing for leaders because I created a great culture on my team where my team members are literally willing to get our logo tattooed on their back. That's how strong our culture was. Maybe a little too strong. And I started mentoring leaders. I'm doing a leadership boot camp. And when the broker wave came, because I know you're working with TPO now as well, a lot of folks, friends and family and, people that left banking and Rocket to start broker shops with TPO and partner with us on that side, they called me to learn that business. And, Casey, I said, I don't really know the broker business. I know the retail model, So I went in there undercover and, I learned the model. And then I said, you know what? I know how to sell. Before Rocket, I was doing distribution, business to business sales. I said, let me apply the same fundamentals I teach at Rocket to the broker model. And it worked, besides switching a couple of things with the scripting and stuff. And people started calling me from brokerages. So I started an online consulting academy for sales and leadership. And the reason I say that is because you're talking about the ism book and the culture. The biggest thing I'm finding is when I infuse that Rocket culture, like not exactly the isms, but creating a company's own form of isms and standards and team name and outings and stack ranks and contests and all of these things that go inside a great leadership, culture into the company, production always follows. And I've worked in the solar panel company. I've worked at car sales companies, used car sales teams. I've worked with life insurance teams, and it keeps applying itself. I haven't failed yet.
The principles apply, right? Again, I mean this with the utmost respect, but, and Dan and developing the isms, writing the isms book and blah, 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 simplicity is genius in that you can lift those up. I mean, you're going to see as a father too, and maybe you're not there yet, but, as he, she, grows, there's things that I use them at home. You probably catch yourself doing that, right? Or we're into friends that are going through inside or outside of this business, right?
Yeah.
Before I was late to a meeting and I had called a friend, she's been laid off and she's not in a great spot and, mentally and, blah, blah, blah. And I find myself almost talking isms to her in terms of the principles, and they can be applied in so many different ways and situations.
Yeah. And that's the number one thing I found is that since COVID, I'm not sure what's happened exactly to, humans in general, but I feel like we need a lot more support than we used to. And for leaders, I've been teaching them, a lot of them don't have that emotional support in the relationships. And that's the first thing I teach them is to focus on people's personal life and their mind, get to know them, get their goals, get their whys. But then how do you push them to that every single day and every single month, which follows? So I've been doing leadership culture and then sales skills training. And I have a whole virtual academy with weekly coaching for leaders and salespeople. And then it's a networking tool for them. And they also get advice from me once a week. And it's like a monthly fee for it. And it's been going good. Sales have been going good. It's been strictly based off referrals. However, I am still struggling with social media because I've transformed so many times the mission from book summaries to motivational speeches to podcasts. And now what I'm trying to do is I got this advice from, Brad Lee in Las Vegas. He runs this courseware that I use online called Lightspeed VT. And a lot of big names work with him. Lightspeed VT. So like Tony Robbins and Damon Jones and all these big names use it, right? It's an online virtual training platform. The uniqueness of it is it could actually narrow down the focus to you specifically. Like for example, if you're a salesperson starting a course, 3 boxes pop up while I'm talking. It says, have you been in sales for 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, or over a year? And depending on which box you click, you get a different video of me. So it just personalizes the experience through the training. And I've been working with him. He partnered with me on the website. The sales have been going good. The social media hasn't. One piece of advice he gave me was, look, document the journey. You're coaching every single day. You're talking every single day, which I have a camera on the light right here. I've been documenting this journey. And if you go look at my social media, it is documenting. The issue with documenting is what I think is, if you look at TikTok and Instagram, which by the way, I have a brother-in-law that sells an affirmation planner. He sold over $2 million last year just on Facebook ads.
Wow.
Now he's moving to Amazon and his sales are crazy. He's averaging 35, 40,000 on an affirmation planner, a day. And it's all through ads. And I haven't done any ads yet, but I haven't been able to build an organic presence. I mean, I got a couple of thousand on each one organically, but I haven't been able to really hit that breakthrough. And if you look at my videos, it's just like in the spur of the moment, me and you talking, and I start the video and pick 60 seconds from it and just post it with like a topic, maybe like the isms, that would be like a culture topic. And what I think is I'm not catching the attention. If you look at TikTok, I need to be hanging off the wall like Spider-Man, upside down, coming down, catching the attention in the beginning and really making it entertaining.
Your brand,
yeah, I don't enjoy.
How much do you use LinkedIn?
I post once a day, twice a day on it. I try to be more verbal on LinkedIn. So I explain the video a little more through like a paragraph or two.
You post I think about your audience, right? Your audience is, well, it's not B2B. They're professionals, right? They're sales professionals. I'm only speaking from my experience. Like, I'm a 51-year-old white guy, and so I use TikTok to go into mindless spaces. I use Instagram quite a bit, more and more from an e-commerce standpoint. But I will tell you, LinkedIn for me, like I spend a shit ton of time on LinkedIn, and I'll use someone like Gary Vee. Like Gary Vee is he's one of my favorites, right? And I watch almost every Gary Vee video, and I'm not talking about the guy, but Eric Thomas, right? Who've seen speak here. But this is just me. I'm a big LinkedIn, and if you were to maybe do motivate, just think about that audience. You're trying to talk to white collar professionals, right?
Yeah.
White collar professionals, generally hunting and gathering their business or trying to expand their networks, and that's a big place. TikTok, yeah, but that's just me. I'm not going to LinkedIn. I'm like, all right, how can I use it for education? Or actually, I was just talking to a team member about this, use it for some educational tools. But I'm also, 51. A 24 or 28-year-old is going to be more apt to go to TikTok than they are LinkedIn.
Yeah. Are you focused on social media for our companies, or do you mainly stick with the advertising and commercials?
No, I've got social. That's part of my purview.
Yeah. So I find that every platform is different, like you're saying, right?
Yeah. With LinkedIn, where I see the more you comment on people's stuff, just
That's
building
true.
your SEO and your brand on LinkedIn.
That's one thing I don't do. So I don't spend a lot of time networking, commenting, liking posts. I just post as a morning.
I'm on LinkedIn 2 or 3 times a day. If anything, it's catching up with people, consuming content, learning, sharing.
So you think that's important to just network?
I think about your audience.
Yeah.
I mean, your audience is going to be that professional, right, or is in the professional space.
Yeah. YouTube, if you've been looking at YouTube Shorts, a lot of them have been getting a lot of views. So it's a good opportunity and a window for YouTube Shorts right now. But same thing here. I do long form videos once a week and short form videos once a day. Instagram, kind of the same thing. Do a short video every single day based off of a concept that I think is interesting or that's helpful. But I'm not really engaging in the beginning of the video because I don't have time to literally sit there and shoot a creative ad outside on the balcony. So I just document the journey, send it to an editor, and he spits me out videos. So that's pretty much what I've been doing now. The thing is, I haven't been making a lot of extra sales on my academy from social media, which I feel like is an opportunity. So I just wanted your advice on where you think I should steer or focus in 2023 with social media.
My opinion, and just a quick eyeball on that. I think just eyeballing some of the content. It's cool. It's short form. You can distribute it across. I just think your audience, who you're trying to reach and grow, is going to be more apt to be on a LinkedIn. You can use all the TikTok content and bring it in, but you don't have to do LinkedIn, video or content specifically. But I would think about building up your audience there as well, because it's a niche professional audience.
Do you think long form or short form videos would be better?
I don't know what you deem short versus long. Like anyone else,
60 seconds or less, or a minute to 5.
Right?
Yeah.
2 minutes or less, a minute or less,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be putting out, the Simon Sinek's and the, blah, blah, blah. They can get away with 10, 15-minute videos. Gary Vee, think about what Gary Vee does. He's so short. I don't know how much you follow him and watch what he does.
I do, yes. Yeah, I've been following him. So your biggest advice would just be to spend more time networking and engaging instead of posting?
Yeah, you should, because you got to build up your audience. No different than, you've been organically driving and building, with TikTok and YouTube, but spend some time, just blasting out connections. You've been doing this for a long time. I'm shocked, and I've been on LinkedIn for 25 years. Every day I go on LinkedIn, and I'm hitting connections and da-da-da. I got 16,000 followers.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest opportunity. I mean, I haven't even connected with you on LinkedIn. I need to spend more time connecting and looking at people's content and provide value or commenting.
You gotta realize there's 20,000 people in this company. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
I think the other thing I do is literally, I don't know the bankers, I don't know all the Triple Crown bankers, but anytime I see a Triple Crown banker, I connect with them. And just think about them. Then you have access to their network, and then maybe they share. You know what I'm saying? It's just that perpetual, flywheel of building that web and knowing that all these humans here are generally, they're not 14-year-old kids. They're, professionals that are looking to make themselves better and whatever, their goal is.
Yeah. You said something interesting in the Triple Crown meeting that you brought that up. You said that you were in a meeting with, I think, Facebook or Google or some of the biggest names out there. One thing that stuck with me, you said that the advertisements or the things that we're posting on social media, you were saying that they're going to be directed towards, if you like family, it'll be a family oriented. If you like relationships, it'll be relationship oriented. Do you think that's where we're going? To specify exactly what you're, because if you look at TikTok, it's crazy. The thing just keeps you engaged, right? It's hard to get off.
Well, it's, I go down these rabbit holes. I was telling someone the other day, part of my health journey is stretching more, blah, blah, blah. Now my goddamn TikTok feed's full of animal chiropractor. I don't know how the hell I get animal chiropractor videos, but I happen to watch. I'm like, all right, how can I stretch my lower back, blah, blah, blah. And somehow I watched an animal chiropractor video. Now I can't get out of animal chiropractor videos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and I like motivational videos too. And things like that.
Do you think the fact that I'm doing sales, leadership, and mindset is too much on one social media to post? Or do you think I could do all three at once?
They go hand in hand.
Okay, cool. What's your opinion on AI and how are you going to leverage it?
Well, we're all asking ourselves the same question. I think it's absolutely frightening. I don't know how much you've screwed around with Chat GPT, and I got on in late October, early November, and in the marketing and advertising world, like people are flooding towards it. I think it's really interesting. But Microsoft just put a shit ton of money in it, and like how is it going to influence SEO things, and even down to like we're getting into AI imagery building, things like that. I mean, it's here, it's scary, it ain't gonna stop. My wife is a retired school teacher, and I showed her, she struggles with our kids sometimes in school, and I go, what is Cash working on right now? Right? My wife's like not a tech human whatsoever, and she's like, oh, he's learning about Egypt, okay? And I go, okay. I go, Cindy, watch this. And I go, 900-word essay on Egypt. And she shit her pants, because she's an English teacher, too, and she read it, and she's like, oh my God. I go, this is where it's all going, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw Chat GPT, like, they just passed the bar exam, and
yeah, I seen that.
Yeah.
Could we leverage it?
We are.
All right. How do you think I could leverage it? The one I was using said it wasn't updated since 2020, so I stopped using it because I'm not sure. I heard it's in beta phases. The free one online, ChatGPT, is beta phases still. But I also heard it's like 5% of what's really out there. We don't even know what's really out there.
Oh yeah, they stopped. There hasn't been any input into it, I think, since 21. So I don't know where it's all.
I know we're running over. Let me give you a couple speed dating questions, and I'll get you out of here. What's your biggest lesson that you learned from winning 2 Super Bowl ads in a row consecutively? What's your biggest takeaway?
Don't ever be afraid of looking over the edge. If you're not looking over the edge, you're not far enough.
Which means like taking risks and going out of the box?
Take risks.
What's your biggest lesson you've learned from Rocket so far?
No, I mean, there's tons of lessons. I think one of the ones that really I had to change my mindset joining this organization was, don't be afraid to fail fast, learn and go. I grew up in a company and a culture where if you failed, you buried the body and you hope to God no one found it. And that was I had to change that mindset. Got it.
For a guy like me, do you think I should keep documenting the journey and posting content that way? Do you think I should schedule time to just post creative content that catches the attention?
No, it's just a journey. Like, listen, I don't like him personally, but a guy that I look at my feed every day. You ever seen him? Do you follow Mateen Cleaves?
Mateen Cleaves?
Mateen Cleaves. Do you know him?
No.
He's he played basketball at Michigan State, won the 2000 national championship. Every day in his car on the way to work, he posts a video. He's always posting stuff about his journey and mindset and the day of. Like, it's every morning. I don't like him personally, but his messages are usually pretty good.
All right. Your job is pretty much to stay on top of trends and always have the next thing that's out there. How do you stay on top of everything and make sure that your mind's always fresh and you know the next thing coming?
Listen to others around you, and that I only know what I know, and sometimes what's on the trend, what's to come. You listen to everyone around you, and that includes your children, because I watch how my children consume content, how they engage, like that is the future of when I think about content creation, content consumption, and distribution is watching young people and how they engage with it, because that's the future of where it goes. I mean, just think about how you consume media now than you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, whether it's streaming, mobile, and how you engage with that content. I mean, I think Super Bowl this year is going to be really interesting to see how brands are going to continuously lean into some AI.
What is your main tip for trying to grow a brand, business, or an account on social media?
Be true to yourself, be true to your followers, your fans, whatever it might be. If you try to be somebody you're not or you're trying to be, I think you'll get snipped out. You gotta be authentic at any and all times.
And so I'm meeting with Austin and Tim on Friday. I'm working on doing consulting for Rocket companies to make sure the culture is aligned throughout all of our companies and the leadership's aligned, because we have some leaders that we say it's the best leader and the best team, and some people we can't say the same. So I'm trying to create the identical culture, at least for the most important things. I'm growing this consulting business and I'm doing this social media and trying to tackle a million things at once. What's one piece of advice you have for me moving forward?
One piece of advice I have for you for moving.
If you were my partner in this journey, what's one thing you would tell me?
Well, it almost comes back to the first question you asked. Don't be afraid to take a risk.
All right. Keep taking risks. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Casey. I truly appreciate it, man.
Good to see you, dude.
Yes, sir.